Thank you so much. Thanks for joining in another TMI webinar. Let me brief you about TMI. TMI is a community of professionals and students. We are a community based on theme of technology management and innovation, and we are growing day by day, adding up new members, connecting new professionals, providing different news updates, opportunities to discuss various updates in the field of technology management and innovation. Also, as a part of our activity and engagement, we also conduct webinars at a regular interval. This webinar is one of them. Recently, we had a webinar on future of drones. Then we had a webinar on 10 productivity hacks. Then afterwards, we had a webinar on finance for non-finance managers. And here we are today with our next version of TMI webinar, which is on personal branding hacks. So welcome to the webinar. I would also like to share that during Saturday and Sundays, we also organize walkathon wherein TMI members and non-members can walk 21 kilometers within their home, within their vicinity, and that is how we are maintaining our momentum and then reclaiming our health. So that is on the TMI Walkathon, and thank you so much for joining this. I would like to introduce Supriya. Supriya and my association goes back around 4+ years. Back to BMI, we have done a lot of activities in BMA, a lot of volunteering, and that is where me and Supriya are associated in Bombay Management Association. Apart from Bombay Management Association, Supriya also is a great speaker, a student community leader, as well as a digital marketing consultant. So, and Supriya is a person, I would say that uh, in current economic scenario, who can expand their office in Bandra? So that is the kind of one-liner introduction for Supriya. So when everyone is trying to move away and Supriya is expanding her office in Bandra. So that is the kind of business she commands. And welcome Supriya to our webinar. Thank you so much for taking your time and helping us deliver this insightful session. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining in, and over to you, Supriya.
Thank you, Chintan. Thank you. I'm really humbled. Thank you for the introduction. And as Chintan said, we've been associated for quite some time. Our association goes a long way back, and I'm really happy that Chintan has invited me today for this topic. Branding is something that I love to talk about, and I love to help my clients. My expertise is in digital marketing, but really it's more of a brand driven digital marketing that I really care for. And as Chintan said about the TMI community, and I'd like to share this, those who are new here, that TMI has completed 4 years now. We just celebrated TMI community's birthday last week. So congratulations, Chintan, for all the effort that you've done. And thank you for nudging us for all the walks that we've been missing. He's very particular in following up with members who are not really actively walking and adding steps. So anyway, and I welcome everyone here today for this little talk. It, it's an honor to be here, and it's a pleasure to share my experience, the experience that I gathered as a student, the experience that I gathered as an employee when I was working with corporates, and the experience that I have gained working as an entrepreneur and running my own agency. So every phase had its own charm and challenges. And when it comes to personal branding, I do have a lot of stories from different aspects. And I'm sure things will keep coming up as we move forward. It's interesting to know how people introduce themselves, how like what great work they are doing, and everything. What I'll start with is my take on personal branding. Uh, See, for me, personal branding is an effort to go beyond titles. Uh, you could be a business owner, you could be a digital marketer, you could be a fitness consultant, you could be anything. But for me, personal branding is about really exploring our strengths, understanding who we are, what value we can add in somebody else, right? And how can we build trust by adding that value? That is what personal branding means to me. For really for a long time, I didn't even know what I'm doing is actually contributing to me, to my personal brand as a student. Whatever I did, I have my mentor today who has joined us on this session. So thank you very much, Dr. Matthew. So there are a lot of stories, there are instances, there are a lot of aspects. My objective today over here in next 1 hour is to share some stories or some aspects of those learnings with you all. As Chintan mentioned, we have students, we have people with around 10 years of experience, 10 to 20 also, and more than that. So it's a wide range of audience, and I have tried to factor for some experience from all the perspectives, and I hope you find it useful. It's not really a workshop. It's more about uh, giving you some ideas, some thoughts that you can leave with today and go back. And I hope it makes you think how you can take more control of your personal brand. uh, I personally used to think, and I'm comfortable sharing it with everyone. I personally used to think that if you do good work, then good work will speak for itself. It took me a while to understand that good work will definitely speak to you, but it has its own speed. And also, let work or people not manage your reputation for you, and we should take charge of that. And that's how I look at personal branding. There are people in this forum today who are just the beginners, who may have not done anything. There may be people in this forum who are already actively nurturing their personal brand, and there are some mavericks over here who I know who are anyway who've excelled at what they're doing. So here we start. One thing that I'd like to say before we move further is that, see, I do something, whatever value, whatever work I do, whatever I do, I of course do it for myself. But at the end of the day, the objective is to add value in somebody's life. Okay, that builds credibility. There are ways to build credibility. There are ways to build reputation, and then comes visibility. You can't just build visibility. I mean, if you're here, if you're impatient and you just want to know how can I just increase the visibility, reach out to more people to increase the visibility of my name, then I'd like to just correct you here. It's not about your name, it's about the trust, the credibility. It's a journey, it takes time, and it takes some kind of conscious effort. What I have done is I want to share 10 ways which I feel can, I mean, most of you already know about a lot of different things, how to build a personal brand. But I have tried to take some aspects which I feel are important and may not be very actively pursued also. So I'm sure you will find something. But I've divided those 10 hacks, as Chintan says, in 4 phases. One is that you discover personal brand. You understand yourself more, analyze yourself more. You understand who you are, why you matter, what difference you make in this life, in your life and in somebody else's life. That's your own brand discovery. Okay. Then second set of things that I like to share are how you can build or improve your credibility, and then promote your visibility, because you build your credibility but you also need to increase your visibility. And by the way, they both go hand in hand. and how you can optimize your own digital assets online. Okay, so that's where I will be starting with. And as I said, visibility without credibility does not make much of a sense. It's not about what digital marketing techniques I can use to reach out to more people. Because common thought, I work with clients where we have to build the business brand as well as the personal brand, and this comes up so often that I thought it deserves some space on my talk today. So let's start with discover. And for those who are new to personal branding, who are a bit unaware, for you, I want to let you know that your brand already exists. What is your brand? It's your reputation, right? It's just who you are, how your colleagues look at you, your customers look at you, your family, your network. So the reputation that you have is a brand. So you already have a brand. It's not that you'll be starting something. Okay. You even if you don't do anything, you just sit there, you still have your brand. Now, my point is that every bit of you is a brand, much like your most loved brands. Like people love Nike for the performance. People love different brands. It could be Body Shop, it could be Coke because they like the taste or they like the ideology of the brand. But it at the end of the day, there is a basic branding principle that I think we can directly apply in our lives, and we can learn from these experienced brand managers in big brand companies, and that is positioning. How do you position yourself? Okay. uh, if I am not looking for a life coach. Yesterday, I got a message on WhatsApp in some group that, "Hi, I'm a life coach. Let me know if I can help you." What I want is happiness and success in life, which probably life coach can guide me, right? So how you position it, how you connect with me when I need you, will I think about you, is where what positioning is about. I'll give you an example. If, if you could just uh, share something in the comments. If I say I have sensitive gums, okay, so can you suggest me something? If our kind audience today can share something in the comment box and tell any brand comes to their mind. Let's say I have sensitive gums. What would you suggest me to use? Anyone? Okay. Pepsodent, Hemoform, okay. Sensodyne, okay. Cool. Let's take the example of these three toothpaste. Out of these, if you look at if you look at the advertising space and how these brands have communicated what they are good at, I think Sensodyne has done an amazing job. Colgate Sensitive, yes, but I think they started publicizing and they started hammering in our heads a bit later. Sensodyne had really captured my mind space. I'm talking about me as a customer, that if I have uh, okay, I'm getting an interesting comment. Root canalling is the ultimate cure. Interesting. So Sensodyne is a brand that comes to my mind because it has already captured my mind space. Okay. This message that they have given me, how do I know that Sensodyne is good for sensitive gums? How do I know? It's that information that they have, which the brand manager has planned. The team has planned that this is the message that has to go out, so that when someone has sensitive gums, they should think about our brand. And the same thing applies to us. If we need let's say a business coach, or we need a leadership coach, okay, there should be. And let's take uh, I mean, I'll recommend some XYZ. Let's say Ramesh. Okay, if you ask me, do you have a fitness expert in your mind? And I think I need some fitness advice. The name that comes to my mind first is because that position has been created in my mind. Okay, let's take another example of Maggie. So when someone says, uh, I can you make something quickly? Okay, today the first thing that comes for a quick snack, fast to cook snack, the first brand that comes to our mind for a very long time. It has been hammered for years and years. Is Maggie 2 minutes noodles? Okay, so That's how they have positioned, that's how they have communicated. It's not the designer who has thought that, they will add that 2 minutes logo, that 2 minutes unit on the package. It's very strategic message that they are giving. They're trying to position in your mind that if you need something, if you want to cook really something fast, you think of our brand. Similarly, if someone comes to you and says, my child's height is not growing, at least I will say, feed him Complan. I mean, I still don't know. For my height, who should I give credit to? My family genes or Complan? But in my mind, I think it's Complan because it has been fed into my mind. That is nothing but brand positioning, and that is what my first hack, I would say, a mental hack that I will share with you is that please go back and think about yourself. How do you want to position it? How want to position yourself? How do you want to? It's like, it's a very beautiful quote that positioning is finding the right parking space inside the consumer's mind. It's so you decide what slot do you want in my mind. If I need tomorrow, if I need a digital transformation consultant, whose name should come up? It's in your hand to create that slot in my mind, but provided you know what slot you want. And job titles are not slots. Job titles are not, they're just job titles. What we do, I am a partner, I'm a business founder, it's fine, but they are not creating anything in your mind. I'll share a small experience with you. After the lockdown, so my whole team started working from home. So one of my team members, he's our social media manager, he called up on second day of the lockdown and he said, you know what, my mom is thinking that I don't work for any company because the whole day, most of the time, I'm on mobile, because his job is, a large part of his day is actually spent on mobile for the research and everything. So even his mother doesn't understand what he does. So it's a conscious effort as a part of personal branding. It's a conscious effort that what is it that you want to communicate. You choose the word, you choose the words, the terms that you want to feed into my mind. Otherwise I will choose something whatever I want. I don't know, he does some social media, I don't know if he even has a job or not. I will put any word against your name. You have to feed me the right word that you want, and that is what brand positioning is. It's like the equivalent of this is that what do you want people to say when you are not in the room? Okay, what is it that you want? Oh, okay, you want a business consultant. I know somebody, he creates amazing content. I think he knows what he's doing, he's really good at it. Why don't you speak with him? That kind of a reference comes up. That comes with credibility. When you build that credibility, when you build that trust, when you build that reputation, and that happens with time, of course. And I just want to share a few pointers that today, what I want you to think about when you go back. When you're thinking about your positioning, and if you have not already sorted out your positioning, then please think, what is your focus? You maybe, let's say you are good in writing, you are an excellent swimmer, and you are an amazing salesperson. Let's say education is a cause that's really close to your heart. That defines your personality, right? But when it comes to personal branding, you have to choose your niche. What is it that you want to be known for? You can't, don't try to show off. I know this, I know that. And as it is, it's not about you, it's about the value that you add. So it's very important that when you are trying to position yourself, please choose your niche, your focus area. Is your focus area around business growth? Is it in the fitness space? Is it in the what, lifestyle space? Okay, so have your niche within lifestyle. Is it food? Is it travel? What is it? Okay, then next thing is the value that you add. Okay, as I said, if I need a very common example is that if I want to drill a hole, my objective is actually to drill a hole, not to buy the drill machine, right? So that's the value that your service can add. It's as simple as that. I don't care what you offer, people don't care what I do. Can I grow their revenue? Can I get them more leads? Can I increase their sales? That's the value addition that I am doing, right? Similarly, what is your value addition? Think beyond your job title. Think beyond your organization hierarchy structure, where you fit in. It does not matter if you are a VP or a manager or a director or even the CEO. What value you add is what is going to make a difference in my life. Okay. And the third aspect of positioning is, who is your audience? Who are you talking to? Okay, let's say there is a consultant who excels at setting up a restaurant. Let's say I'm a restaurateur and I want to set up a restaurant, and I have a consultant who will come from A to Z. He'll do everything. Okay, there are people like that. But what category? What kind of restaurants do you do? You do fine dining? Okay, or do you do dhaba style, happening kind of a place? Do you do, like, what's your category? This is just a very very high level example to tell you. Let's say if you are a I'll take an example of, let's say you sell audio equipment. Okay, now that audio equipment is for the premium category, or is it for just a student who's looking for a pair of, just, let's say he needs headphone, that's it. Your communication, your message will change according to your target audience. Okay, and the fourth factor is that what makes you a superstar, what's your quality. Because see, each one of us, we are unique. We have, we all know, I mean, even if there is a person who's just like me, but I'll still be unique. But still, in spite of being unique today, the moment I try to build a personal brand and I step out, okay, the chances are that I might drown in the flood of me too's. There will be so many people out there who will be doing the same thing. What differentiator? What differentiator do I have? What is my strength? So that is something that you need to think about, as to what are your superstar qualities that sets you apart. Okay, I'm just giving you pointers, but this should really make you think. Okay, so I'll bother the attendees again, and I'll say, what do you know about this guy? Why don't you share whatever comes to your mind about this person? We all know who he is.
Magician.
So we have, okay, yoga, Patanjali.
Magician.
Let's say,
Magic.
sorry.
Magician. Magic. Magician.
Good communicator, magician. Okay.
Yeah, I would request if you can type in the chat window so that at least.
It's interesting. His brand is in yoga, Ayurvedic product. I mean, a decade or maybe before that, when he started giving yoga lessons, he was just another. When he started, I mean, long time back, he was just another yoga guru. I mean, he was just another guru, right? But the way he captured his category, the way he demonstrated the value that he can add, and he genuinely shared his knowledge and experience in an amazing form, that I think it has touched Indians like anything. People, they may not really pray, as in, they may not say that he's a god, but they really genuinely thank him for the techniques that he has shared. Okay, now what has happened is that has helped him build a brand, and he is that's his personal brand. Now today, Patanjali, when Patanjali was launched, although their pricing in the category was not really high, so but you know that you cannot compete on pricing for a very long time. Today, I can introduce some products at lower cost, but that advantage I will not really get for a very long time. But his advantage was not functional. The functional advantage of the product was not there. It was the emotional advantage that was associated with his products, with the brand Patanjali. It is his personal brand, his values that really took the brand forward. It was not the other way around. Patanjali didn't do anything to him or his fame. It was him. It was Baba Ramdev, because of because of which this brand has really captured the market because of the emotional benefit, because of the personal brand that he has communicated over the years. So that is one example. Another example in the same category is Sadhguru. Okay, different people. I mean, when he started, of course, it was both are in the spiritual space. They both are in the same space. In a very layman terms, they are competitors. But if you see, they both have created distinct brand identities. They both have created distinct brand identities. What emotional benefit, or what you associate with Baba Ramdev, you don't do that with Sadhguru, and vice versa. They are two brands. They are two popular brands. They are famous. I mean, they've really nurtured their personal brands very well. Yet, and they're in the same space, and yet see how they coexist in the same category. My point being that, see, you will always face competition. You'll always have competition. You'll always find people who are doing the same thing. You don't have to feel uncomfortable about it. I think you should introspect. You should go back in and think, what is it about me that really differentiates me, that can really make me stand out. So these are just two examples. There are other spiritual gurus in the same category who are good, and there's so many more who are not known, who have not really made this kind of a personal brand. So my point is that you will always have competition, but your unique, distinct offering, they both do offer different benefits. They both have created their own distinct specializations, and that's how they have positioned themselves in my mind. The kind of uh, advantage that I feel Sadhguru has. I mean, he's an excellent speaker. He promotes cause like related to conservation, water conservation, and everything. But now also, when another lesson from these two identities is, if you collaborate. So when these two brands collaborate, I don't know if you got a chance to see what was happening in the. I just saw an update in the news few days back. So I think Baba Ramdev visited Isha Foundation campus, and they were together. Excellent example of brand collaboration. So what is happening is that you are reaching out to a new target audience which you don't have through that collaboration. I'll leave it over here and I'll move on to the next point, which is that once you know what kind of brand you want to establish for yourself, then it's about making a plan, right? Then it's about making a strategy. My point over here is that, ask yourself how aligned I am with the personal brand that I want to grow into. Okay, and that gap that has to be filled, what all can you do to fill that gap? Please set your personal branding goals. Don't just start doing something because you want to create visibility or just random credibility. Set your goals. What do you want? Do you want a better job? Do you want a particular role in your organization? Do you want to get some kind of placement? Then how do you prepare for that? Okay, do you want more clients? Do you want to tap specific type of client base? What is it that you want? Based on those personal branding goals, then you make a plan. You can always then it comes to how you manage your goals in life in general, that you can always have smaller goals, break it down, and please come out of your comfort zone. There are many people who are very active in doing what needs to be done, but there are many people, including me, it took me a while to really uh, come out of the mental barriers that we have. So I absolutely understand where we are coming from. Okay. Now I'm moving on from the discovery phase to the credibility part. Okay. When I am discovering my brand, I'm thinking, what are my strengths? How do I position it? What do I want people to think about me? With which category should I make a name in, and all that. Now that you've thought, Don't leave those notes in your diary or on your laptop, or worst case scenario in your mind. Okay, now it's time to communicate that brand. Tell the world what value do you add. And the more you tell the world what value you add, and you have to do this while building the credibility. I mean, I cannot grab the mic and I cannot just say, okay, I can do this for you. I have to build credibility. Why will you believe me that? Okay, so that belief part is where credibility is important. And for that, again, my kind audience. Okay, so who is this person that you can see on the screen? Excuse me. Okay, see, he's a marketing entrepreneur. He educates marketers and helps in growing businesses. He's all over. I mean, if you search for online marketing, and he's there. He is leading that category. He's Neil Patel. He publishes daily podcasts. Um, he is New York Times best-selling author, one of the best-selling authors, and he writes really helpful blogs. Okay, that's his introduction. There's another person you may or may not know. So that's Lucy Wyndham. She's a fitness expert and author. Um, she, in 1 year, through her short videos, which she used to post every day on YouTube, she raked in, I think, more than 100,000 subscribers and 2 million views in just 1 year. She, I think she posts, she creates videos daily. She's an author also, and she really shares very useful content for people who are fitness enthusiasts or who can benefit from this category. Now, mind you, she has a YouTube channel. She's doing pretty well, but she has made a name in a very competitive space, in the fitness space, where it's not that simple. Okay, I want to draw parallels between these two personalities, Lucy Wyndham and Neil Patel. They both create awesome content. Okay, and they both are really consistent and committed in sharing the world their knowledge, but with the spirit that they genuinely want to help the readers or the target audience. That's a common thread that runs between these two personalities and many more. My point is that today, if you want to build credibility, then content is, as you can see, is it's still the king, but content is really important. But I think many people understand that also, that content is important. Content will help you in marketing yourself and these kind of things. People know that, right? But how it really helps in building credibility, I just want to share uh, some pointers on that. So I hope they help you. See, I'm sure there are so many people who've joined. There are more than 65 people on this forum today. Some of you may be having your own blogs. You may be having your YouTube channel where you're posting videos, or maybe you conduct regular webinars and all. But there's certain kind of strategy that you can bring in the content that you create for building credibility that can definitely give you better results. For example, when you create content, is who is it, and it's the same branding principles that we touched on when we started this, when we were talking about positioning, that who's your audience, what value do you add. So it's the same thing over here also. If I want to connect with let's say senior executives in a company, senior sales executives in a company, but I create content that is more useful and usable by, let's say, uh, inside sales team, which is with very less experience. There's so much, I mean, the profiles are so different and the content requirement will also be so different. Why? Because they both, one is a senior profile, they are doing something which of course this profile does not need that kind of information. If I want to tap that audience, but I'm creating content for this audience just for the sake of creating content, then you're wasting your time because you're not focused. When you know you have to sell to this particular audience, then please create content for this audience. It takes time to understand and analyze that audience, but it really helps. And as you start interacting with people from that segment, you will definitely get more insights about what kind of content they want. I'll give you an example. So there was a solar company that one of our clients, they had a solar company, and we had to create content. Again, it's not for personal branding, but the analogy is very clear here. They wanted to create content for getting more website traffic. Now, the objective was to get traffic on the website which is ready to become a customer. Okay, the objective. So what kind of content will I write? If I just post helpful content, how to maintain solar panels, how to choose solar panels, maybe some initial phase research that you and I do, but we don't really actively think of installing panels. So that initial phase content, if I start writing, I know it's not really helping me. That kind of strategy is important. uh, Authenticity and consistency is like, when I talked about Neil Patel and Lucy Wyndham, one thing that is there is that they create authentic content. Okay, they have their own style of content also. Their tone of voice is also very, I mean, you read the content and without showing me that on which link it is there, I I read their blogs and I can understand, yes, it's coming from there. That's their personality that they have brought to the content that they create. Okay, that brings a very unique and a genuine touch to the content that you're creating. And yes, they both are consistent. And similarly, there are many content marketers who are very consistent in creating content. Third is the visual branding, the look and feel. When they, let's say you come, let's say I have a YouTube channel, or then you come to my YouTube channel, but there's no consistency in what you see. There's no there's no identity of my channel. Maybe you come today, maybe you don't remember, or it doesn't really help in establishing the brand. It's very simple. You can start in a very simple way, that let me have a, let's say I'll have a color palette. I'll play in these colors, I'll use these fonts, I'll have this kind of a tone of voice. Decide that and add that personality in the content that you create. Over the period of time, you will see that when you look at your own content, you will also see that there is similarity, and that all that is coming from one person. That is very important, because whose content I'm reading, if I don't remember, that doesn't help you. One more thing which is important is that many people, I mean, we are all aware that we need content, but please don't start creating content in any format. Okay, first of all, on which channel you are trying to reach out your audience? Where are they on Facebook? Are they in some other forums? Are they Where are they? Okay, and in those channels, what kind of content will be best suited? So that is one way of looking at it. Second is, what are you also comfortable creating, or what skill you want to enhance? Please remember, when you're building a personal brand, it's a journey. And you will realize, and I can vouch on that, that you will realize that once you genuinely commit to it, you will see that your own skills are, I mean, you will evolve, your skills will enhance. You will definitely become a better presenter, a better skill, whatever skill you're enhancing, it will definitely help you. So content formats, if let's say you are active on YouTube or you active on any video channel, then create your own style for those kind of videos. Have your stamp on it, okay, and add genuine value to it. If you try to take that content from somewhere and it's not genuinely coming from your knowledge, I think people are sensible enough to judge that. Then there's no credibility that you're building over here. So that's for content. Since you were talking about the tone of voice, I mean, he's my favorite example, Richard Branson. He has a very infectious, fun, adventurous kind of a persona, and the way he brings that to his content. He's very active on LinkedIn. He has huge following on LinkedIn. He also creates videos. The way, and he's so consistent. And in fact, he is another example of what we discussed with Patanjali. Here, he is selling his brand. The brand is not selling him, and he is known for his style, his own persona. So it's okay if you take time to understand what is your real personality. It's fine. As I said, it's a journey. Give yourself time, but invest in understanding and exploring it. So as I've been actually saying this a lot of time, that building an audience through content is a long term strategy, so please exercise patience. uh, just because you're writing blogs doesn't mean that immediately you will start seeing traction. You have to build the audience, you have to build your followers, you have to get people to your channel, and you have to start communicating with them. Okay, it's don't have a one sided affair where you're just creating content and posting. uh, I think it has to be a two way, where you connect with your audience, where you reply to their comments, or you ask them what they want. That genuine connection is really what helps. And you don't have to really focus on a huge following. Don't don't have such kind of lofty goals that I want a huge following. Start with genuine follower base that you can truly connect with, who can really vouch for you, and then you start expanding. Okay, so as I said, be you, but I'll add a caveat over here. Don't forget that personal branding is not about you. It's about putting your stamp on the value you deliver to others. So, yes, be you, bring your style in it. But at the end of the day, credibility has to be built by the value you add, by the solutions that you're giving to people to improve their life. Okay. Now, those who are very pro marketing might be waiting for this. Uh, Visibility. How do you promote your profile? I'll just check how much time I have. Okay, I think we're running on time. So, to increase your visibility, you need to increase your credibility, and vice versa. As I said earlier, your visibility and credibility, I feel, go hand in hand. The more visible you become, people start experience the brand you. I mean, your personal brand. People start experiencing that brand. And if it's a memorable one, yes, it's doing the job. But every time they're experiencing you in a good or a bad way, that's where your credibility is being affected in a good or a bad way. So let's see what we have in visibility. So, see, I will not be redundant here, and I will not say that you create content, awesome content, and please share it on social media. That's a done thing. I think it's been understood. What aspect I wanted to share from social networking, from social media point of view, is the networking part. Uh, there, many of you would already be knowing that there's a group feature on Facebook and LinkedIn, but I'd like to tell you that they are not the only networks that we have. There are so many forums, there are so many networks that we have outside these popular 4 5 social media platforms. And the way to look at them is that, now, how do you decide which one you have to join and why you should join? Okay, I'll put it this way. Let's say um, I'm a mommy blogger, and I'm known for sharing tips or sharing insights on um, parenting for age of, let's say, 1 to 10, and that's where my specialty is. Okay, now if you look at the life cycle event, if if you are a mother or a parent, once your child grows out of that age range, you don't need that advice, right? So there are some experts who position themselves as experts for the phase of life. Let's say if you are about to get married, or if you are hunting for jobs, then, or if you are looking at building certain what do you say, let's say it's about getting your dream house. So not dream house, that's a wrong example, I'm sorry, but the phase of life, as we grow, we leave those phases behind, right? If I'm, let's say if I'm 20, 25 and I've started working, I'm earning, but I know that around that time a person will start looking at maybe home loan options, or maybe uh, buying a car, or maybe buying a second hand car or a first hand car, anything. But that's a phase that changes. What? So there are some kind of experts, some kind of people who want to position themselves, who should be positioning themselves because they have expertise for that phase. That is what I mean by life cycle events. So there are some networks which are specialized, and when you are going out and finding networks where you should be sharing your content and your expertise and position yourself as an expert, then these are the things that you will have to look out for, that what is the nature of that network. Another could be like a passion driven network. Let's say I love photography, so there will be a lot of networks that I can join from that point of view. They're more passion driven. Or maybe bikes. Okay, if I'm interested in, let's say, high-end bike, that's a passion, so I can find forums accordingly. Do you have expertise and experience to showcase in that segment? Then go and join those kind of groups. Okay, it takes a lot of time in finding the right kind of group, right kind of network, I mean. So that's how you can look at it. The other, so there are networks where you'll see very shallow conversations happening, where it's more about you talk at a very, not at a very there's no in-depth discussion, but you know that you marketing your personal brand or whatever. But then there are groups, there are networks where in-depth discussions happen on okay, I'm sorry. I got a comment that the presentation is not visible. Virenji, what you can do is you can look for the profile where the presentation is and you can pin it. Okay. So then, continuing where I left was that there are networks where in-depth discussions happen. Like really, they have people who are participating in that network really have the expertise and they specialize in that. If you want to build your personal brand in that space, then please look for those kind of networks. Okay, then those shallow discussions will do only a little bit, will add a little bit to your thought leadership. So you want to build thought leadership, or you want to have deep discussions, you will find networks. But that is what I wanted to share with you, that when you go out and look for networks, and please do look out beyond Facebook and LinkedIn, there are many networks, and you can now, with this understanding, evaluate whether that will help you or not. Also, that audience that you're trying to connect with, is your, whatever you're offering, like whatever brand you want to make, are you looking at first getting a hold on more regional presence? Then please do check out the profiles of the members also. I'll give you an example. Recently I was working with a client where we were trying to promote his personal brand and trying to position him as an audiophile. So the network, there were so many networks that we could actually choose, but the ones that we chose were where the audience was primarily largely Indian and were interested and were talking in depth about the products, the kind of products, the premium products that our clients sell. So this is just an example. Uh, I will not go very deep here, but my take on public speaking is that if you are trying to build a personal brand, then public speaking really gives you a lot of visibility. Uh, I understand and I have faced this. I can share that with you, that there are a lot of mental barriers when you have to go out and face the audience. It's not easy. Now, there are some students over here. I'd like to share a bit of experience here. As a student, I was volunteering with, you have those student associations, and so we had in our college, we had ACM, and I think, yeah, ACM was there. uh, I just volunteered in the first year of my NCA, and I really enjoyed doing that, and I was a very, very shy person. Then second year, I got into the executive committee. I got elected as the chairperson. My mentor, Dr. Matthew, he's here on this forum. He was the chapter sponsor, very strict. But the kind of training that we got by coming out of the comfort zone, it really, I mean, the kind of person I am today, I was not really like that when I went through that phase as a student. So my suggestion for students is that when you are in your campus while you're studying, please do participate in extracurricular activities. Do take up these kind of public speaking opportunities if you get, and try to overcome your inhibitions. That's the best time, in fact. And otherwise, professionals, yes, we have other people who have a lot of experience here, who are very good public speakers. We always can learn from them. But the whole point is that it's like you get a boost in your visibility when you engage in public speaking activities. So it could be you going for seminars, you going getting invitation in conferences, but you will have to build your profile. Again, as I said earlier, you can't just stand there holding the mic and expect people to listen to you, right? You'll have to build credibility to reach there. Okay, I'm sorry, I think I got a call in between. Okay, now we all have heard about public relations, PR promotions, and all. This suggestion is, excuse me. Now, the thing is that when we read magazines or we read blogs, we want, as a reader, we want something interesting, right? We can't have boring stories. What is it? I mean, if I'm just working, if I'm just doing my job, and I don't have any interesting stories to share, but I like to read interesting stuff. That's where the editors, they're looking for content. They need interesting stories to feed their audience. Okay. One very good, I think, tactic for getting visibility is to get the visibility in blogosphere, like the blogger network, and in magazines. But try to get with, I mean, one trick I'm sharing is that you can have uh, I mean, get associated with an agenda. If you just go there and let's say you contact me. I'm the editor of some blog or some magazine, and you tell me that, hey, I want to please write about me. I give me an agenda. Give me an interesting topic to talk about. Okay, you give me content, I will give you coverage. That's for sure. So the trick over here is that you can get associated with some. And that's something that I've covered as the next point also. But you can get associated with some agenda, something which people can talk about. This something that can be interestingly put across as a story. Okay, that is where organic PR helps. So if you are already very active in building your personal brand, just give it a shot, because you've already built up you have a lot of experience, right? Get us Maybe you can get associated with some cause or do something interesting. And the second part of this organic PR is that you reach out to the editors and the blog writers. Today, I mean, you build relationship with them. Today, you can reach out to them through social networking sites. You can email them. Don't get very desperate though. I mean, they won't like it. But I think this is an excellent technique, and you can definitely try this. There's no harm in reaching out to them, but this definitely, we read about so many interesting stories. How do you think they land up over there? In our blogs, in our magazines, how do they land up over there? So we have to reach out to them, but we have to go with something interesting. That really helps in creating your personal visibility. And of course, it should be associated with something that you want to build your personal brand around. I mean, that's obvious. That focus area has to be there. The next visibility technique, and this happened by accident with me, is volunteering. As I said, in college days, I got associated with a lot of extracurricular activities, did a lot of volunteering, gave me a lot of confidence. What I didn't realize at that point of time was that it was actually building my personal brand, and it was building a reputation for me. I did not know that. I mean, had I known that, I would have definitely used it in a much better way. But that kind of gives us experience. Again, as when I was working with JP Morgan, as a team, as an employee, my point is that you don't have to be just I mean, even if you are in a corporate environment, you can still volunteer. I'll cover that in the next point. But the point is that when you start volunteering and you start sharing your expertise with your community, I think that's an excellent way of building credibility. And that's my personal favorite. Happened to me by accident, but I now when I look back, I think a lot of good things happened. I got to meet so many interesting people. So if you want to say that it helps in networking, definitely it helps. My objective was not that when I started. In fact, my mentor said, Supriya, just take membership of Computer Society of India. I said, why, sir? So he said, you just take it. I mean, with time, you'll understand why. So I just went and attended their event, and I printed my own personal cards with my name, number, and email ID. I didn't know. I mean, I think I was just 3-4 years out of my college that time, just almost in initial phase of my career. And I attended events, and I shared my connected with people, and I shared my uh, my personal business card, not the company card. I don't know why I did that, but yeah. And one day I got a call from the one member of the executive committee of Computer Society of India that, we are putting up a huge event, annual event, and would you like to come and volunteer? I said, okay. And I just went. It was an amazing experience. You get to really understand your personal strengths. And as I started this session, I told you my understanding of personal branding is that you explore your personal strengths, because only when you understand what you have, only then you can really use that for branding, right? So I think amazing. I've now it has got into my DNA. I think volunteering is something I can't live without. I have to give some time to it, because I think it starts coming naturally to you after all these years. How much time do I have? Okay, so we have. I'll just take 5 more minutes to wrap up.
Yeah, we can continue and finish the entire deck. I mean,
Yeah, wrap up
let's
this.
continue for at least 10 minutes and then finish the deck.
Yes, I was thinking for this section I should wrap up fast, but that's what my experience is, and I think it's amazing. And you get to demonstrate your personal strengths. It's definitely adding to your credibility, right? So it is building your personal brand. You gain visibility because of the projects that you're doing, because of the work that you're doing. You develop some empathy, you enhance your skills. I mean, I think I can write. I should start a blog on volunteering. That's the kind of faith I have in this tool, and I didn't realize. Again, it just happened by accident. So that's volunteering for visibility. This point I explicitly added for people who are still working. I mean, who are working with in companies. I want to highlight the point that just because you are working for somebody else, please don't think that personal branding is only for consultants or freelancers or business owners. My point is that if you are working, if you're doing something, if you're adding some value, you can make a personal brand. Okay, even anyway. So With that thought, I have put together some points as to how you can use your professional environment to your advantage. Again, I'm sharing my experience here. One is that I think, and when I started my career, I know there was nobody to guide me on that. It just so happened that when I moved from Oracle Financials to JP Morgan, there the environment was very different. And I got involved in a lot of firm wide initiatives, like the company wide initiatives. It gives so much visibility to, I mean, as a person, but it also helps you in uh, creating that credibility that, you know, I can do. I mean, fine, I'm very good at my work, but there are other things that I can do. Also, it helps in building relationships with people who are not in your immediate environment. And silos, you know, I mean, everybody who's worked in a corporate, you know, working in a silo is one of the biggest challenge. How will you create your personal brand if you are limited in your silo? You have to come out of it. And I think the best way is to get involved in projects which are volunteer for projects. It could be for a like I volunteered for women in network initiative, and I think there was one or two more initiatives. Then there are initiatives which are at a department level. Just get involved in it. You can't believe the kind of visibility and confidence that you will get, and the kind of relationships you will be building with people across other departments. And that is, I think, a very important element also tomorrow. I mean, if you're moving up the ladder, you need that kind of a visibility across the company, not just in your department, and it really helps. Um, Another thing which I never realized while I was working, it occurred to me very late, was that, I mean, I did some amazing projects over there, okay, but and my team lead was trying to project us as, you know, subject matter, like in-house experts around investment banking, some topic, whatever. The point is that we never really thought of taking this outside our immediate environment. Okay, how will you increase the visibility of your personal brand? So I think my way of looking at is that if you are an in-house subject matter expert, then push yourself to participate in some local events in your city which are related to that topic. If it's Java, then go and attend Java meetups. Create a visibility over there. If it's Salesforce, I mean, I'm talking technology, but there could be other aspects. They could, if it's marketing, if it's sales, whatever area you are in wellness or whatever, but whatever you are working on in your company, there are a lot of local events and meetups that are happening. If there's nothing happening, please go ahead and start. Start it yourself. That will also give you visibility. But remember, just because you have started that session, you still need content, right? You still need content for building credibility. Don't forget that. Then, of course, you can always, like how we say, graduate from your local events to move on to regional events. Try aspire to be a part of those, right? Events in any format. It could be just meetups. It could be anything. But please come out of your cushioned comfort zone at work. It will really help. Even if you think you don't need it, but I still insist, please get it, because when you look back in future, when you look back, you'll realize how what value it has added to your portfolio. It also helps you, in fact, build a very nice profile for yourself, resume, as you say. And today, that kind of profile, of course, is on LinkedIn, and I'll definitely touch on that, how everything really comes together. But that's my input for people who are working in other companies. Please don't think that you don't need a personal brand. We all need a brand to demonstrate what value we are adding. Okay, so from discovery, we saw how to build credibility through content. Right now, we looked at a couple of points how you can enhance your visibility. And what happens when you start becoming visible? What do people do when they stumble upon your content, or they come across meet you in meetups, or let's say in public speaking and all? What do they do? They Google you. They try to check you out. They try to find out what's your profile. Now again, please don't wait. Okay, this point I'll reiterate at the end. But anyway, they Google you. Okay, so what do they find? They'll find something about you. Probably they'll find some, depending on how active you are in building your profile. They'll find your LinkedIn profile. They'll find some website if you've created it. Maybe you are a writer. They'll find your blogs, or you create videos. Then they'll find it. They'll definitely find something. Okay, what I'm coming to is that when they come to your landing page of the profile, whatever you have created as the main landing page, I mean, you can obviously create profiles in a lot of social media channels, but there will always be a primary channel for you, right? Either your website or and LinkedIn or YouTube, anything. It could be anything, but there will be some primary brand assets, I'll say. So how do you optimize them? I have few minutes left. Yes. Okay. Quick points. So when people discover your social profile, okay, please maintain it. First of all, don't just add something to it and don't leave it like that. Okay. Also, in the first phase of discovery, where you really thought so much about yourself, how you want to project your brand, how you want to position it, what is your focus area and all that has to then start reflecting on your social media profiles in some way or the other. And please don't worry, don't wait for all green signals to come that one day when I'll have an awesome profile, only then directly I'll do that. Don't get into that waiting stage that one good day will come. Don't do that. It's an ongoing activity, and I think you should take it like that. Again, I'm saying it from my experience. I had some misconceptions and I've learned my lessons. Doesn't help. Also, if you look back, whatever points I've covered, be it building your credibility through content or visibility through public speaking, or even the points which are not included here, but if you are building so much around your personality, please don't forget to sync it with your online profile. Reflect that in your online profile. Why? Because social media is not just for posting, oh, it's a beautiful sunset, or oh, um I like this article and all. It's also about projecting you, your profile, your brand image, right? And you are delivering so much brand experience, your own experience in the offline mode through different activities. Take it, bring it online, and start talking about them. Then you will see automatically, you will get content also to talk about, and your profile will automatically start filling up. So, and in this case, LinkedIn is a perfect example. Why? Because if you look at LinkedIn, the kind of fields that they have: skills, projects, publications, they have volunteering, they have these sections. So even if you just follow LinkedIn profile and look at those sections, there's so many things that you can do to fill those things. Automatically that will add to building your personal brand. And then some basic hygiene, that maintain your profile. Maintain your profile, if you have a website, link, all the links are there. The name of the handles should reflect, I mean, simple thing. Do you want to have the social media handle name by your personal name or by your company name? Or if you choose your personal name, then what do you add to it? I mean, those kind of things. I'm not getting into the depth of it. I'm just saying that these are the things that you have to think about. So overall, your social profiles and your website should reflect your brand persona. Same things apply for your website. I mean, that you have to keep it, you have to optimize it, that when someone discovers you. But one thing that I want to add over here is that when somebody lands on your website, okay, and the first thing that they see is the top section, what do you communicate about your brand over there? Your personal, I'm talking about personal brand, is very important, because again, link it back to the positioning part. How are you positioning yourself? If you are a leadership coach, then say that you're a leadership coach over there. But also, of course, add some value to it. But that category should be clear. I shouldn't get confused what you are about. Okay. And if I'm talking specifically about website, So again, like social profiles, it should reflect your, for personal branding, it should reflect your persona over there, your own brand persona. Again, let's say you are active on YouTube for creating content, or let's say you have a blog, you're regularly creating blog. Don't forget to integrate with your website, because that is a integral part of your personal brand, right? So don't keep those channels like as if they're not on talking terms. Integrate them. And visual branding, again, like I touched upon earlier, that the look and feel, create your own persona. When you go to Neil Patel's blog, yeah, you've arrived at the same place where you wanted to be. The color palette, the fonts, the tonality, and all those things. So that's my input on the website part. Of course, every point can be explored in depth, but ours is a small session, but I hope it helps you. So let's summarize that. First part is your brand strategy, how you discover yourself and then you position yourself as nothing but your branding or your strategy. Where you find your parking slot, how do you want to position yourself in the target audience mind, okay? And set your goals, set your destination goals, that these are my personal branding goals. That's your branding. Build credibility through content. Within content, don't forget to apply strategy. You should have clear content goals, what you want to achieve from your content, who you are writing for, everything. Then we have visibility. So in short, we covered social networking. And as I said, there's some obvious points which I haven't covered here, but social networking in general, I felt that if somebody is trying to project themselves as a thought leader, they should know that. Then getting organic coverage through organic PR, volunteering, um, boosting your credibility with public speaking, and don't forget to begin at home, wherever you are, your team, your colleagues, your network. Start projecting your brand in a much more managed way, just for your own sake. Okay, and optimization, of course, your website and your social profiles. Keep them optimized, because whenever people discover about you because of your content or anything, they will try to check you out. That happens for businesses also, but for personal brands as well. And then they try to understand what you do, how to position you. If they get it easily, it's good for you, right? That's how I'll summarize today's session. At the end, I'll just say that each interaction that you have with others has the opportunity of creating an experience. Okay, and you're kind of giving a message what they can expect from you. So whatever values you have, whatever you stand for, whatever you believe in, whatever your distinct, your USP is, you have to communicate it, give them an experience so that it's memorable, set expectations through that experience. Good luck and enjoy the personal branding journey. Chintan, over to you now.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Supriya. Indeed, a great presentation. I mean, all of us were like glued to our screen, and we were making notes and trying to introspect and find out the delta, that what we should be doing for ourselves to improve on the branding part. So thank you so much for the great session. I would request, we are open for questions. If you would wish to share any question, then please type it in the chat box so that we can take questions.
And while people are typing in questions, Chintan, I
Yeah.
request our audience to share their personal branding goals with us in the chat as well.
Yes.
Immediate takeaways, whatever you think should be your personal branding goals, whatever. Right now, I'm not saying it should be an exact, like an exhaustive list, but something that you feel immediately right now. Just share it here. It'll be
What is on top of your mind? What is that you would wish to do today?
absolutely, absolutely.
Chintan, I go first.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Supriya, thank you very much. So nicely packaged, excellent session. And my personal goal is just to start branding. I haven't done it yet for a single day. So far, you have motivated me so much. I'll start that. I want to
Thank you.
start actually. I'm going to start on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Supriya. Thank you, Chintan. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Who goes next? Please feel free to share your feedback. Kindly unmute yourself. start your video so that we are able to see you.
Hi, Chintan. Hi, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
One thing I certainly like is that whether you do it or you don't do it, you create your brand. That is I mean, that's a perfect point. And we, at least me as a, I mean, the serving for about 31 years in the police, I never thought of this point that I am creating my brand. If I am a little aware, I am sure I can create my better brand. So thank you so much. It was a great insight and a great learning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Who goes next?
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any question queries in the chat? Satbir ji, okay, great talk. Thanks. Branding is really vital part of the personality. Thank you, sir, for your time and feedback.
Hello, Chintan bhai, Sanjeev here.
Haji, Sanjeev, if you can put on your
Thank you.
video, you'll be able to see you.
Are you able to see me now, Chintan?
No, Sanjeev.
Okay, I think maybe because of some slow network issue.
Not an
Can you
issue.
hear me? At
Yeah,
least
yeah,
I can
we
share
can
my
hear you.
voice.
Yeah, please carry on.
Yeah. So thank you, Supriya. And if you would actually help me to refresh my entire that marketing knowledge. And I really like your visual part. You know, every PPT has very well drafted and very well designed. I appreciate that your visual part also talks a lot of things and give us a lot of message. And I think it's the right time for all of us to create our network mapping so that we can socially as well as professionally build a very constructive network altogether. Thank you.
Chintan, may I?
Arey, sir, yes. I have been trying to locate you. Good evening, sir.
Congratulations, Supriya. Excellent presentation, content rich, and fluent delivery. I wish you all the very best. Keep going. Thank you. Thanks, Chintan, for organizing this. Excellent.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure.
Thank you so much, sir.
Great. Any last question?
Yes, so we have, I think, Sabir, he's trying to say something. We can't hear you.
Satbir ji, please go ahead. You'll have to unmute yourself. Hello. Satbir ji,
Hello.
we are not able to hear you. Okay. So anyway, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining in for this event today. Do we have Pritam around? Pritam, are you there? If you can unmute yourself.
Yes, I'm here, very much here.
Yeah, we can put on your video and
Yeah.
kindly share
I
a
hope you
photo.
can see me.
Not yet.
Yes.
Not yet.
Can you see me?
Yeah,
No.
I can see you. Looks like you started the journey.
Yeah, I'm already on the move with my personal
You
branding.
started the journey. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Supriya, for the
So-
motivation.
So I
Am
think most
I
of
audible now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Chintan sir, thank you
Yes,
very much
yes.
for bringing ma'am on this platform. She has taught many things about personal development. Basically, unless and until there is a brand of each and every one, it cannot reflect good about us to the society or to our colleagues in office or in public place, anywhere. And ma'am, you have talked about volunteering. Mr. Chintan is also a very great volunteer in PMI. Mr. Mitravani is also a great volunteer. So thanks for your inputs, and I'm also motivated to be a part of their volunteering team in future. Thank you for your good, insightful session.
Most welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Big
much.
hand.
Because
Over
we
to you,
both
Pritam.
volunteer for Bombay Management Association, and that's how Chintan and I connect also.
Yeah. Over to you, Pritam.
Okay, guys, hope you can hear me clearly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Go
got
ahead.
it.
thank you, Supriya. On behalf of TMI, I am taking this opportunity to thank you. I'm sure that most of us on this call could connect with, a lot of things that you said. Personally, my three personal favorites would be, creating your own niche. I think that's been one of the things that I have lived through my life. So I think that's one very, very important thing. We always see around us in our offices and things like that. One, you will have a problem maker, and the other, you will have problem solver. Both have created a niche for themselves in some way or the other. So that's my first, takeaway from your this talk. The second one I liked is around, the content, right? As you rightly said, content is the king, and it helps you to create that credibility. I mean, if there is no credibility, there is no brand. That's how I take it. And I think Neil, as you took the right, example, Neil does it very well. He talks about his personal stories, but how it relates to you. And he creates a lot of you appeal in the stories that he narrates. So that is my second take, that is creating wonderful content which creates credibility in some way. And third and very important one is your personal brand is so very important to create your company brand. I think you gave, again, the right examples of Baba Ramdev or Sadhguru or Richard Branson, not to miss Steve Jobs. I think all of these guys could, capitalize on the personal brand that they had. So wonderful. Thank you so much. And on behalf of TMI, great job. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Preetham. And thanks. The floor is formally open for fellowship. We can ask questions. Thank you so much. And the session is formally over. We can have chit chat and have fellowship. So let me open the floor. Please unmute yourself, share your views, your experiences.
Session, I'd like to just.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Chintan, I'd like to share one update with the audience. So next week, I'm conducting. Yes, please go ahead.
Chintan sir.
Chintan, I have a suggestion.
Yes, sir.
एक गुलाम अली की एक गजल है कि हम तेरे शहर में आए हैं मुसाफिर की तरह, तो आपने हमको अच्छे शहर में बुला लिया. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Excellent.
Great.
मुसाफिर तो यार.
हम तेरे शहर में आए हैं मुसाफिर की तरह, हम तेरे शहर में आए हैं मुसाफिर की तरह. तो let us build this शहर beautiful and more energetic and with more good personal branding. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Sadhguru. Yeah, Matthew,
Chintan, I have a suggestion.
Yes, sir, please.
See, I think we could repeat this performance of Supriya exclusively for students, maybe management students or other technology students, and hold it for them sometime after inviting a few colleges to see whether there are any response from the students. I think it will be very useful for them as part of their career.
Sir,
Thank
in
you.
fact,
Thank you.
Sir, in fact, the good news is I am expanding TMI community and I aspire to reach 10,000 professionals and students. So please feel free to recommend TMI community to professionals and students around you.
Sure, Chintan, I volunteer.
Happily, I will do that.
I will volunteer.
Thank you for the suggestion. I'll just share one thing with the audience here that next week at Bombay Management Association, I'm conducting another webinar, which is related to how to make your website customer ready. So I think Chintan can share on the group.
Yeah, sure. So I will be sharing update on the next programs and events, speaking events being hosted by Supriya, and you guys can feel free to join for further information and engagement. So great. I would be definitely putting it in our TMI group. Yeah. That's on 17th, right? That's on next Friday. So look forward
Yes.
for my message. The event is called Friday Fundas, and Supriya is the speaker that. And feel free to register in case if you have any questions, queries, difficulties in registering. Feel free to approach me. I would be happy to assist you. And that's about this point. Any other point, Mitra? How is it going? How are you walking? What is the target you have achieved out of 21 kilometers? Mitra, are you
This
there?
weekend. Hello.
Yeah.
Can
Go
you hear
ahead.
me? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Chitan. So not really this weekend. Last weekend was I just managed to finish 21.1, so pretty much neck to neck. This weekend not really, and again here it is a bit restricted. So even if you have to step out, you need to have a form in place which needs to be attested by a police, and only if he says you are allowed to go out, then you can, or else it is very strict.
Oh,
So
okay.
even to a
So,
grocery store, if I have to go, they track your in time and out time, and if it takes too long, they'll ask you what are you doing for 2 hours in the grocery store. So
oh,
it's a
okay,
bit
okay.
restricted.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah,
Got your point.
but things okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mitra is based out of Europe, and he's a member in TMI. He's also part of our Walkathon group, which is a subgroup within TMI community. We walk 10,000 steps every day, and I am happy to share that we, as a team of walkers, around 44 of them, we have been able to generate around donation of around 73,000 rupees. And this month we have generated 15,000 plus of donation. We use a app, and that app actually converts your number of steps into the donation, and then you can donate that money to charity of your choice, and that is how you make individual contribution as well as you regain your fitness. So this is a dual objective we are achieving as a team. Feel free to join the team. We have Ketan with us. Ketan, any feedback on top of your mind, feel free to share with the team. Ketan Vyas, are you there? Puneet, Ravi, Saurabh.
Hey, Chintan. Hey, Mitra. Good to see you. I think, Chintan, it was a great session, and I always enjoy the sessions that you organize. They are very motivating and always give something on my plate to look upon and chew upon. And more into that, those are practical things which one can put into their life and make a better use of it.
Great. And happy to share that we have Debanika Dam with us. Hi, Debanika, how are you? Seems she's on mute. Okay, fine. So we are already at 6:31. Thank you so much. Thanks, Supriya, for such an insightful and informative session once again.
Let us clap for her. Thank you.
A big hand. Thank you, Supriya.
Thank you, ma'am.
Chintan, for
Thank you.
giving
All the best.
Thank you. Have a great evening and weekend ahead.
Thank
So
you,
much.
everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Supriya.
everyone.
Thank you.